Okay, so today we're diving into something that sounds like it's straight out of 1984, like newspeak. Like trying to oversimplify language so much that it restricts thought.
Interesting.
So today's deep dive is all about simplifying images.
Okay.
But the question is, how much can we simplify before we lose? What makes those images meaningful?
It is really fascinating, isn't it? Because you're trying to maintain that essence of information, but you're also striving for efficiency.
Totally. We all know, digital photos can be absolutely huge.
Huge.
Yeah. But, imagine if we couldn't compress them at all.
Oh, my gosh.
Sending a picture would be like
Yeah.
mailing a floppy disk.
It'd be like sending a telegram.
Right.
Waiting days, and then it would slowly...
It'd be like that old pixelating.
A blurry image.
Oh, totally.
It's true. Image compression is like the unsung hero of our digital lives.
Without a doubt. Websites, streaming movies, all that jazz, even medical imaging.
Yeah.
But how does it even work? Like magic, shrinking files down?
Well, it really is a kind of magic. It's the magic of mathematics.
Yeah.
So think about a scientist who's studying something really complex, let's say fluorescent molecules.
Okay, I'm picturing microscopes, lab coats, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and so they might be gathering all of this data, but then they'll use something like curve fitting to represent all of that data with just one formula.
Wow.
So image compression is kind of doing a similar thing. You're finding a simpler way to describe something very complex.
So instead of storing every single detail, you're basically storing the instructions to recreate it.
Exactly.
Whoa.
So one of the earliest techniques used something called the Discrete Fourier Transform.
The DFT.
Or
The DFT.
Okay, that sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
All right. Lay it on me, DFT Imaginary Orchestras. I'm ready.
So imagine an orchestra.
Okay.
All those instruments are creating this wall of sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
The DFT, it's like we're separating out each instrument.
Oh, wow.
Each note, its frequency, its volume.
Okay.
We're analyzing that sound by its building blocks.
So instead of storing the entire messy orchestra, you're storing the recipe to recreate it.
You got it. And surprisingly, a similar principle can actually be applied to images.
Hold on, you're saying there's a connection between sound waves and digital photos?
At a mathematical level, absolutely. Yeah. And this is where the JPEG standard comes in.
Yeah.
It uses what's called the Discrete Cosine Transform.
Another DCT. Or DCT.
All right, so what is the picture version of all of this?
So imagine summarizing an image, but you're only using smooth, continuous waves.
Okay.
Each of them have their own frequency and amplitude. That's the DCT in a nutshell.
Okay, but how do you get the sharp edges and details if it's all wavy?
Yeah.
That's like trying to draw a cityscape using only soft rolling hills.
Yeah.
It's just going to look like a melted crayon drawing.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's where some of the limitations of the DCT become apparent.
Okay.
It's really good for smooth gradients, but it struggles with those sharp details that you might find in a cityscape.
So it sounds like smooth waves are great for some things, but not so much for others?
Yeah.
What if there was a way that we could describe images with a more flexible, language?
Yeah.
Something that can handle both smooth transitions and sharp edges.
That's exactly where our next chapter takes us. Imagine you're trying to draw a curved line, but you can only use straight segments.
Okay.
Versus having a tool that can just create that smooth curve directly.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What's the more flexible tool?
Enter Wavelets.
Wavelets.
And the mastermind behind them, Ingrid Daubechies,
okay,
mathematician who totally revolutionized image compression back in the 1980s.
Ingrid Daubechies, the wavelet pioneer. What makes wavelets so special?
Yeah, so...
They're like the Swiss Army knives of math.
In a way, yes. Because unlike those smooth cosine waves, wavelets have edges and boundaries built right in.
Okay.
So they can be smooth when they need to be, but they can also be sharp and defined when the image demands it.
So instead of trying to force those square peg cosine waves into the round hole of a detailed image, you're saying wavelets can adapt to the complexity.
Precisely. And that flexibility is what allowed wavelets to capture those nuances that the DCT just really struggled with.
Okay.
Daubechies essentially gave us a new language, a more expressive language to describe images.
And this new language, it had to have a real-world impact, right?
Huge impact.
Okay.
Remember JPEG?
Yeah.
Get ready for its cooler, more sophisticated cousin, JPEG 2000.
JPEG 2000.
This new standard actually incorporated Daubechies wavelets.
Wow.
And it resulted in even better compression.
Okay. How much better are we talking?
Sometimes up to 20% better.
20%. That's huge. Smaller file sizes, faster downloads, all while improving the image quality. That's got to be a win-win-win. And it's all thanks to like a deeper understanding of math.
Absolutely. And Daubechies' work didn't even stop there.
Really?
She knew that for some fields, even the tiniest bit of information loss could be critical.
Right.
Like a doctor can't exactly work with a blurry X-ray.
You need all the details, especially when it comes to someone's health.
Exactly. So she took on this challenge of lossless compression.
Lossless compression. So you're saying we can compress an image without losing any information at all?
That's right.
That sounds like something straight out of Star Trek. How is that even possible?
Well, it's a testament to the power of her mathematical insight.
Wow.
Lossless compression using wavelets allows us to represent even the most complex data perfectly, just using fewer bits.
It's like finding a way to fit an entire library's worth of books into your back pocket.
Yeah.
But you can still read every single word perfectly.
Right. It really highlights how our ability to understand and manipulate information is really intertwined with all of these mathematical breakthroughs.
It makes you realize we're not just looking at photos on our phones. We're looking at the result of some really powerful math. But this isn't just theoretical, is it?
Oh, no.
This wavelet magic, it's happening all around us, right? So every time that we like snap a pic on our phone or stream a movie or even just scrolling through social media, wavelet compression is like what makes all of that work.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Without it, our digital world would be a much different place.
Right.
Imagine waiting like minutes for a single image to load on a website.
Oh, God.
Or only being able to store like a handful of photos on your phone.
It's true. It's like we totally take for granted how much we rely on images these days.
Yeah.
It's not even just cat pics and memes. Like think about medical imaging, scientific visualizations.
Right.
Even like how self-driving cars see the world.
Yeah.
All that depends on like really efficient image compression.
It does. In medicine, for instance, the ability to compress and transmit those really large high-resolution pictures quickly, that can be the difference between a timely diagnosis and a delayed one.
Totally. And it's not even just speed, right?
Right.
Like the smaller file size also means that less storage space is needed.
Exactly.
Which is a big deal whether we're talking about our phone
Right.
or a massive scientific database.
Exactly. It allows us to do more with less, which is always a win in technology.
It's kind of amazing how something that seems so simple, like making a file smaller, can have such a big impact on our lives.
Huge.
And we started talking about newspeak.
Yeah.
That whole idea of simplifying language to restrict thought.
Yeah.
But it's like, in a way, Daubechies' work with wavelets show that by simplifying data,
Right.
when done right,
Yeah.
can actually like empower us to do more, see more, understand more.
It's that delicate balance, isn't it?
It really is.
Between efficiency and accuracy.
Yeah.
And that's something that researchers are always pushing the boundaries on.
Totally.
Who knows what the future holds for image compression?
Right.
Perhaps one day we'll be able to like compress data beyond what we ever thought possible,
Right.
opening up whole new realms of possibility in how we interact with information.
It really makes you wonder what other kind of mathematical breakthroughs are out there
Right.
that could change how we experience the world.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. If simplifying data the right way can have such a big impact, just imagine what else is possible.